Hey, how you going, people? It's the Bloody Legends podcast with Giant Jim. Hope you've all had a bloody great time and is like doing a Halloween edition. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Jim, how have you been, my friend?
Wonderful, sir. It's really cool being first thing in the morning. It's 7 a.m. here in Pennsylvania. So it's like, wow, okay, this is cool. And you're half awake. It's probably what, around 7 o'clock evening for you down
It's
there.
about 9:30 in the evening, which is really cool because it flips over on the other end. I'm getting up in the morning and I've had about 3 coffees and I'm all fucking buzzed up on coffees, whereas now I've had about 20 coffees to the day and I'm extra buzzed up on coffees. But I'm really excited to chat about all things Halloween. We do have a special guest jumping into the show later on. We have Tom from Carnal Viscera, who are tearing it up at the moment, playing all over the place. He also runs Tropical Decay, does a whole lot of graphic design stuff, works with Grindhead Records, and I can't think of any bigger horror nut. So hopefully he drops in, works out his technology and jumps in. Till then, it's me and you, Jim. How have you been, man? What's been happening on the music front for you? I know you've been playing a few shows with a couple of bands and getting yourself out all over the place, man, which is really, really good to see.
It's been great, sir. We are looking. Well, Lenny, my band, we're looking to be in the studio in December, hopefully. I think we're doing it out of Lenny's, my front man, his hometown out of Staten Island, New York. So that'll be really cool to have everybody up there. I think plot spoiler. It was going to start out as one song. I think we're going to go for another EP again. Nice. So we're doing that. Yeah. Like a smaller, smaller EP like we did last time. We really enjoyed that. So
yeah, and we've had a single release, the film clip. You've done a lyric video for the Screaming as well in between since last time we talked as well.
We did. We Screaming was, it's funny because that was one of the last songs that came together. And we our buddy Gary did the video, and he did Miracle, and he's done the Screaming. So we're looking forward to working with him again. And they just came out fantastic. So we should have another video supposed to be out November for Plastic, which was the first video we shot. Yep. So shout out to Steve on that one, our guy from Imagine Records. We're looking to release that one too, so that should be really cool.
Yeah, you just must be kind of glad to kind of get that out and look forward to the next cycle of what's happening with the Len, you know what I mean? Move forward, get some new material going as well.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be. See, we had a lot of. Lenny and I wrote that a while ago. This is going to be really cool to have, Mike, Stevie, and Rob involved, and we're looking to have Morgan out with us, and Morgan and Lizzie out to engineer and produce it, and looking. I'm nervous thinking about it right now, so, but it's been really cool. The other thing I got this, my good friends in Defiant, they're local PA band here out of Central PA. Awesome. They got punk vibes. They've got kind of like metallic punk vibes. I compare them to like Pennsylvania's Motorhead in a way. We actually opened for The Obsessed, and it was a real honor to meet Wino at the show, and that was a really crazy experience. I actually got to debut my mandolin that I made. If I can do a quick thing here. So me and my friend, this was a custom. It's a small, it looks like a guitar, but it's actually a mandolin. Yep. So 4 strings on it, and little shotgun shell, 1-tone knob. Oh, wow. And I premiered that at the show, and it's pretty rad. It actually, so rather interestingly, but mandolins typically are a higher trebly instrument. Yep. That's actually lower, and then I run pitch shifters on it, so I get some pretty crazy I used distortion with that guy. So it's pretty cool to kind of do the Iron Maiden, Metallica type like harmonies with the guys. So that was a real honor. I'm so blessed they asked me to do it. It was really cool.
Yeah, and I'm just having a look now. I got one here of Jim shredding it on stage at the moment. There we go. Look at that. I love that Cobra Kai shirt, man. That is the best shirt in the world. I don't care what you're saying, man. That is an unreal shirt. And every time I see it, I think the same bloody thing, man.
That's awesome. Oh man. And that was a lot of Marshalls. So shout out to HP or JP Love Drafts.
Can you ever have enough Marshalls? I don't know.
It was crazy, and I'll use any pedal, and I was actually just using it wasn't my Boss. I'm trying to think of it. It was but like a small, just a little little one you customize, but it was just that big, and I ran pitch shifters on it, and I was like, oh, let's make this really, really unique. And I was like, that's a lot of Marshalls, and it was cool. But yeah, shout out to JB Love Drafts there in Mechanicsburg who had us. That place it's awesome. It's like kind of like a cross between a brewery and a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty rad. Big stage for a short guy like me. That was a half hour to get up there. You know what I mean?
And it is getting that time of year, man. Halloween, kind of. I wanted to talk all about bloody horror movies, Halloween. And, I know it's a big thing over in the US, and it's a holiday I really do enjoy, especially more so because it's kind of the official anniversary for mine and my lovely girlfriends as well. So,
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you got planned for Halloween, man? Like, I know it's a big thing for Halloween over there. We'll talk about that first.
I don't dress up, but I'll be. I'm actually sitting in as DJ. My buddy owns a restaurant here down in Greencastle, John Allison Public House. I'm just dropping everybody. I just hope that's okay.
That is totally fine. Right. That's the whole idea of these podcasts, so we can name drop and people can go check it all out.
So I'll be DJing, so it'll be good, and I like my prime rib, so I'm gonna have a nice prime rib, and then I'll play, whatever horror I was thinking I'll probably play everything, but I was thinking maybe I'll throw in like John Carpenter's Halloween theme, or like the Exorcist theme, stuff like that. So I was gonna say, speaking of Halloween, have you caught Halloween Ends?
No, man. I was meant to watch it. I didn't do my homework. I was hoping you did for me, my friend. I know that you were going to do it as well. So I wanted to pick your brain all about it before I dove into it. I've just been so busy with work.
Oh, no, gotcha. I actually, and I caught it. It was last week, I believe. And,
what did you think of it?
Personally, I understand. I mean, for those, I don't know if we're doing plot spoiler. I don't care. If you haven't seen it, just go watch it. Michael Myers maybe has about 15 minutes of screen time in it, because it's all about this other kid, which I thought was interesting. And if I was going to rename it, the film, I would call Mike Myers Gets an Intern. So Halloween, whatever.
Mike Myers takes an apprenticeship.
Mike Myers gets an intern. But I like the idea of it, because if you remember in the series, that Halloween 3 had nothing to do with Michael Myers. So I think they were like, well, how do we take that idea and we combine it with kind of the mythology of the Michael Myers movies? I was like, that's an interesting idea. I know a lot of people hated it. And I was like, oh, like, hang on, people get so quick to dislike things, and I get it, and its opinions are like assholes. We all have them, but I was like, this was cool, and it was cool. Like, you'd see, like, the kid becomes his life cycle throughout the movie is interesting, because I'm like, oh, this kid's being bullied and this and that, and then you find out, wow, this kid's a sociopath. Great. And then he kind of has this strange father figure in Michael Myers, which is really, really weird. So definitely check it out. It's so You can't
keen to
beat
check
the
it out because he's always been one. I know with all the others, like it was building the tension, and I know with Halloween Kills that was something he was really building on as well. And then I was expecting more of the same in Halloween Ends as well. And it's got Jamie Lee Curtis in it again. How can you hate anything? She,
awesome.
Yeah.
She is the coolest, most badass grandma you'll ever see on film. She kills it in this, but it's her journey too, from Laurie Strode's journey from like the very first Halloween from 78.
Yeah, 1978.
Yeah, I was like, this is incredible. It was like, and I think she was like, you know what? I want to put this character, I want to give her a good send off, and I think that was a lot of it too. Cause like you'll see her in movies like Knives Out. Like you see her go from that and be like, oh yeah, I got one more Halloween under my belt. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, I was really glad she came back after H2O, which was like, it was, I thought, this was the movie that we needed then as well. You know what I mean? Jamie Lee Curtis coming back as this badass, you know what I mean? I thought it was really great when they started this arc again, that they were like, forget about all that other stuff in between. This is like picking up from here. And I'm glad they done that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. And every one of these directors from Rob Zombie to to John Carpenter, Rob Zombie, now Danny McBride.
Yeah.
All involved. Excluding, Mustafa Akkad, everybody involved.
Yeah.
It's everybody has a vision of it, and I bet you. I mean, there's going to be someone else that's probably going to do another Halloween trilogy. I mean, it's like the Jason movies. Was there like 27 of those? I know there's not that many, but it's iconic because, and then every generation, it's like the Dracula movies. We've seen multiple generations of that. We've seen multiple generations of Frankenstein. It's like these are characters we love, So we're going to keep on, what's the next generation, So,
yeah, speaking of multiple generations of Dracula, I do got to touch on. Did you watch that Netflix Dracula one that came out a couple of years ago? It was like it was really good. It was like the Bram Stoker one, wasn't it? I thought that was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it. It was the whole story of the Jonathan Harker, and it was really, really gritty as well. And on the other end of that, the interview with the vampire is actually doing really, really well. And that's something I have been watching as well, that Anne Rice interview with the vampire. And that's actually done really, really well. You know what I mean? It's an Anne Rice one. I've read the books as well. So I really enjoyed the reinterpretation of that. So that's something I did dive into through this Halloween. There's a couple of other ones I did as well. But that interview with the vampire is really, really well done. I'm loving it. It's really gritty and gory, but it also does have that it's a love story, but ultimately between Lestat and Louis, you know what I mean? And with a whole lot of violence and blood in between. I think it's 5 episodes out so far, and it's not too bad, eh?
I had to check that out. I haven't seen anything since the original movie. Unfortunately, I've never actually seen Queen of the Damned.
Yeah. So. Yeah, well, those movies were good, but they weren't overly true to the source material. You know what I mean? Okay. And I find that this TV show they've done seems to be a lot truer to the source material, and it doesn't have fucking Tom Cruise. For some reason, I could not stand that original one with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. It just infuriated me.
Okay. That's funny. I never. So when did she write those? Were those in the 80s?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was like the second one, maybe. She wrote. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've actually never tried to read them. Unfortunately, they interest me. I just never dove into that.
Yeah, there was a whole series of them. It was like the typical just anti-hero. He wasn't good. He wasn't bad. He just he was done whatever the fuck he wanted as well. And I think it was like the second episode, you see him just punch his hand right through this priest's head, just annihilate this priest's head right through his head. And you're like, okay, this has got kind of gory really bloody quick, which is cool.
Right. Because, okay. Right on. So I gotta check that out. So way different than Tom Cruise.
Yeah, they've got an Aussie actor playing it as well. I think his name was Sam Riley. He does it really, really well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he plays the Lestat character.
Interesting. Okay.
What horror movie, Jim, did you watch as a kid, man? Used to scare the shit out of you, man.
Exorcist, definitely.
Yeah.
That was definitely one. One that particularly, it wasn't maybe the whole movie, but one in particular that scared me, it was a scene, was in 1979, there was a Dracula movie with Frank Langella, who he famously played Skeletor in Masters of the Universe, among other things, for our kookiness. But yeah, there was a scene where it's supposed to be, it's Mina Harker. So the one daughter that ends up getting bit by Dracula, and then she comes back from the dead. I just remember it was the creepiest. I remember it's Donald Pleasance, or no, it's Laurence Olivier. He falls in a puddle, and it's his daughter, and he sees her reflection in the puddle, and he looks up, and she's got this garish white makeup and black eyes. Scared the hell out of me. And I just remember that, and I think she's speaking, I believe, in Romanian too. And I was like, okay, this is horrifying. Yeah. Trying to think of others that really.
Nightmare on Elm Street, that scared the shit out of me.
I was going to say, what was yours?
Nightmare on Elm Street would have to be. I used to go to my friends when they come out, and he lived like next door to us. We lived in housing commission, housing trust, mainly single parents and kids, pensions and things like that. But I'd go over to my mates. We were all kind of around the same age. We'd sit there and watch Nightmare on Elm Street, and his big brother would scare the absolute shit out of us every time we'd watch it. And then I'd have to go home at night, and I'd run the fucking 10 meters home, like just absolutely packing it and climbing to bed and try and bloody sleep, shaking away. Another one, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I remember I went one night, with my mum, the original one, sitting there, and they were all kind of watching it, and I was sitting there horrified like this, and my little sister, 2 years younger than me, was like, this is the best. And I'm like, fuck this. She was always the horror movie buff. I was always the little like, no.
Right. It's funny. The Nightmare movies actually made me, well, they got campier and sort of funnier.
They did. Yeah, the first couple though.
Right. I remember watching the reboot with Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah.
And he kind of brought it to like it was a little more terrifying. I
thought so too.
Right. And I'm trying to think of other franchises like that they kind of changed the character. The Jason movies got hysterical too,
didn't they? Jason versus Freddy. Speaking of,
I'll tell you something. And so my collection of movie soundtracks. That was I remember when I bought the soundtrack to that album. It's one of the best soundtracks ever, and because I discovered In Flames on that record, and it was great because I'm from Virginia, and that was the first record besides their self-titled, not self-titled, I'm sorry, Lamb of God had that was kind of their sort of a debut they had been a band for a long time.
Yep.
But that was so the 11th hour off As the Palaces Burn was right. In fact, it was In Flames Trigger from Rearward to Rain, and then the next track was Lamb of God. It was 11th hour.
Yep.
And I was like, my God, and both those just hit me in the face. And being since Lamb of God had been playing, I was there you go.
El Nino, Kill Switch Engage, Spine Shank, Mushroom.
Seven Dust. I told when Morgan went on tour, he was like, man, what should we play? You know, I know we'll end up doing Animosity front to back. And I was like, you got to do Leech. And he was like, dude, I haven't thought about that song in years. I was like, dude, it was a B-side and it was on Freddie versus Jason. He was like, that's right. You know, and
I found a lot of good bands like that through soundtracks. You know what I mean? Some soundtracks, movies, you remember them more and you listen to them more than the actual movie. I know.
That's it.
What was it? The Tales from the Crypt with Hey Man, Nice Shot. Yeah, and Pantera. Demon Knight. That was it, man. I've played that. Still got that.
On that too.
Yeah, played that so many times. Love that album, man. I think more than the actual movie. And there's been a few like that. The Queen of the Damned soundtrack, like you're saying, the Freddy vs. Jason. So many.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
That had and then remember Dracula 2000?
Yeah, that was cool too, man. I like that movie, man. That was dope movie, dude. Dracula
I
2000.
awesome, yeah.
Oh, who was in that? Was that
Johnny Lee?
Yeah. Yeah, the British actor from fucking Train Spotting.
Gerard Butler.
Yep, Gerard Butler as Count Dracula. Here we go.
Yeah.
Open image.
Which is funny. Now that you think about that, like Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler. Wait, I've got an image here of Gerard Butler as Dracula. Let's see.
He had that like amazing hairdo.
He did. He's so
cool, man. If we ever got him to do the show, I would freak out.
Gerard Butler's Gerard. If you're watching this, mate, I'm sure you're not, but if you are, come on the show. There we go. Gerard Butler and his bloody amazing hair.
God, that movie's 22 years old.
22 years old. It's aged good. Yeah, that's a bloody good movie. I need to dig that one out again as well. That one was a really good movie. It's funny when you look back at some of these classics and you go, man, they were really good. And you can actually watch them again. They're right. And there's some that you watch and you go, oh, what have I done? I shouldn't have watched it. I've just totally ruined it for myself now. And
what was one? Now, was there any horror movie that you found that actually made you laugh? Like it was supposed to be scary and it just ended up,
coming back to some of those reboots, and I watched one today and it was I don't know whether to laugh or yell at it. I watched one on it's a newer one called Grim Cuddy. It's on Star or I don't know why I bloody watched it. I'm like, I gotta get in some more horror movies. I watched that and I watched a few others and it was, I don't know. It's just I couldn't get into it. I don't know if they tried. It's about the parents' insecurities feeding some demon through the internet on their phone, and then the kids got to lock their phones away, and then the parents getting anxious, and then feeding this demon so the kids hurt themselves. And I don't know. For one, the whole plot line, it just. I don't know. I just didn't get it. And as a parent, I just thought, man, parents are I just felt a bit like targeted too, man. My insecurities feeding like, what's going on with my kids as well. So I don't know. There was a whole lot into it. And the demon thing they had just kind of, I don't know what they had going on, but it wasn't overly good. And I'm probably not going to recommend that one for anyone in the Halloween viewing. But if you want to laugh, go watch it.
What were some of the more recent ones? I like the creature feature one. So there was one that came out. Oh my God, it was Sam Worthington, Rogue.
Yeah.
With the giant croc.
Yep.
I thought that was rad as hell, man. And I was like, that was sweet. It was Sam Worthington and the one dude from, I think he's from Alias, Michael Weatherly, I think his name. No, I think I might be wrong. That Rogue was one, and then I caught one called the Babadook.
The Babadook, yeah. Both got Aussie actors in it as well, eh?
Exactly. I was like, this is the way you do it, because you didn't really see the whole creature, the use of lighting, and
the tension as well. You know what I mean? Like what we were talking about before. You, as a filmmaker, and you as a fan of movies, and worked in movies doing music and that. That whole building of tension and
for sure.
that ode to the art of filmmaking as well.
actually just last night, heading to bed, I actually put on The Exorcist 3, which that's more of like, it's almost like a supernatural detective movie. But there's that one shot. There's that long, prolonged shot. Yeah.
The Babadook.
It kind of looks like Aussie. That was cool.
It kind of did look like Aussie, didn't it? Wait up, let's get that one up again. There you go, Aussie. Man. After he ate the bat.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah. Watch Exorcist 3, and there's that one scene. It's a prolonged scene that's in the hospital late at night, and then that nurse that comes from left the very end of the scene where the nurse comes and grabs. It's like the angel of death that like stabs the nurse. I was not expecting that, and that one was way different than the rest of the series, but that, like they wanted to try a different, the book was way different than the movie. It was more about, it was still supernatural, but it was like involving, yeah. I remember the trailer for that was absolutely horrifying, more so than the rest of the movie. Like it had its moments, but the trailer was just very cryptic. It was like, I remember 2 trailers that were religious-based horror. That and the trailer for Stigmata. And you remember that movie, Stigmata?
Yeah.
And I saw that. In fact, I was looking at. I was staying overnight at a college that I was potentially going to go to, and I remember I had stayed up partying. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna watch Stigmata." That was a great idea. And again, it's the whole Exorcist thing. Like they got the eyes rolled to the head and like the cuts, and they're speaking in a foreign language, but it was still cool.
Stigmata was 1999, wasn't it? That was Gabriel Byrne as well. Yeah,
bad,
and Patricia Arquette. Yeah, I remember that movie. That one was a really good one. That one definitely stuck with me too.
Yeah,
jeez,
it was crazy. She's writing in Aramaic on the walls of her house and stuff. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they used to scare the shit out of me more as well, like those more supernatural, spooky kind of ones that kind of built that tension. I was probably more drawn to them than the straight up gore. Like I know some horror fans, they like the bloodier the better, the gorier the better. And for me,
the slasher movies really aren't that. I shouldn't say they aren't that scary, but when you have the psychological element, especially with something like, I'm fascinated by exorcism because it's the ultimate between religion and psychological or disorder. And so like when like another one's Last Exorcism.
Yep.
And it was like, wow, is this like it's something so different that and the first Exorcist movie. This I was actually reading about this. The part that terrified people the most was not so much. It was, Linda Blair who killed it, in the makeup. But there's a scene where she got. I don't think they do this anymore. But she gets the needle in her throat to check the brain trauma. People were legit passing out from that because they were like, we don't know what this is, and they're like, no, this is actually a real thing. And what's even scarier about. I'm more fascinated too by the making of The Exorcist because there was all this crazy stuff that happened during the making of it. So during that scene where she's getting, I think it's called an encephalogram, and she's getting that, one of the technicians in that movie ended up being a real life murderer.
Oh wow!
And he was a really talented. He was he worked in the hospital. He did exactly what he did in the movie. And it was during the making of William Friedkin, who also did The Exorcist, during the making of, I believe it was Cruising with Al Pacino, he found out that guy had actually killed a bunch of people in the East Village.
Oh, wow.
Or at least one. But I was like, that's even scarier than the actual movie. You know what I mean? And there's a lot to that.
Yeah, did I see somewhere they're going to do a reboot of the Exorcist, or is that?
That would be fascinating. I know they had that series that was here in the States and Gina Davis was in it.
That was a good
And I
series. I
never
like
saw
that.
it.
It didn't seem to hit off very well. I think they've done a couple of
No,
seasons, but I actually
I think
really,
it's 2 seasons, right?
I thought it was
But
cool,
like,
man. I enjoyed it.
I gotta check it out because apparently they bring. I think Gina Davis is Regan in that.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, yeah, it's real. I thought it was really good, man. I quite enjoyed it. Oh, The Exorcist 2023 or something, maybe.
Whoa.
First look trailer, Blumhouse. I think
Okay.
maybe redoing The Exorcist. Hopefully that
He's
one's all
become,
right because
he's
like
become like. Remember the old? I'm not saying different level, but remember when you'd see the Canon Films logo,
yeah,
you knew things were going down.
yeah, yeah.
He seems like that for horror.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I know he does everything, but like I'm waiting for like when I see Blumhouse, I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be different,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
definitely does some good horror movies. Another person who does some really good horror stuff who I really, really dig is Guillermo del Toro. And I've started watching that Cabinet of Curiosities. They've only got 2 episodes out at the moment. I watched the Lot 36 with Tim Blake Nelson. I really, really enjoyed it. He's an unreal actor,
he's
Tim
rad.
Blake. Oh, isn't he? He's just absolutely unreal. He's like the actor's actor, I think. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
he's never gonna be, you know what I mean? Like the up there is the Brad Pitt, but man, that dude could outact Brad Pitt any day of the fucking week, and I would sit there and watch him in anything. And it was really good to see him. He plays like this sleazy old soldier, not sleazy. He's just this old soldier, and he's kind of a bit borderline racist, and he's a bit there's a bit of a cunt in it. Anyway, there's what we call a bit of a shit cunt here in Australia. And
right.
Yeah, and he's kind of just preys on people and buying out their storage containers, and he buys out a storage container that's a little too much for him at the moment, and ends up getting his comeuppance as well, which is really, really good. And Guillermo del Toro, he's demons, and he's got a whole lot of great directors in, and it's a whole lot of short stories. So I'm excited to jump into the next one. But the first one was really good, just a collection of short stories. It's over on Netflix as well.
Currently.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll dive into that. That's cool.
I'll see if I can find.
I like these anthology. My wife and I have been watching these horror, the old Hammer horror, with like Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. There were like Trilogy of Terror. They'd have these movies that were like 3 separate. You know what I mean? Remember Cat's Eye?
Yep.
Was like that with Drew Barrymore, but it all involved that cat being at the center of it. So I just remember that troll, and then she puts it on the what do you call it, the phonograph, and throws him into the fan. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of classics, The House. Did you ever watch those House movies?
Okay, years ago. Yeah, those are like that was during a period where you had House, you had Phantasm.
Yeah.
That came out that were all like
Reanimator.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Amityville.
Yeah, there was some funky movies through the 90s. I'll tell you what.
Right.
Gremlins. Was it Gremlins?
That was
the other one, the Critters, which Leo DiCaprio is in one of those. Yeah, he was in one of them. Really young Leo, man. I really dug those. If that's a movie you want to remake, go fucking come on. Let's get a new Critters, man. Let's do the Critters.
Or let's do what was the one? What was the one with the mutant kid? Basket Case.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, there was some funny movies. Another one was.
But they were like. But that's what made those movies hysterical. Like they were funny, scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I don't know what really turned the corner where it was like, all right, we're gonna get just straight jump scare horrifying. You know. I got one that actually scared me at the time because I saw it in a theater, and it actually was it was so different. Was the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
And I saw that in the theater, and which is funny because where that takes place, they filmed it. It's not far away from where I live in PA, and so it became obviously it was all fiction, but they went to such a length to create that mythos, to be like, these kids are missing, that people started going around Burkittsville. You know, they had a problem keeping the Burkittsville sign for a while because people kept stealing it. And I remember, yeah.
It's funny how they takes on a whole life of its own, the whole folklore and the rolling of it. You see, like really early as to what they kind of do now with a whole lot of crap on the internet too.
I thought the last like 10 minutes were horrifying.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't watch that at first when it come out. I was fucking just people running around the forest with their camera and fucking, just be Aussie, And when I did finally sit down and take the time to watch that, you're right, it scared the shit out of me. And I thought it was so well done, the use of the angles, the cameras, the sound effects, and again coming back to that building of tension as well. Not everything has to be.
You never saw the witch.
Yeah,
ever.
It just totally built that whole tension around the movie that you were on nice edge by the time that happens at the end of it. That you kind of get this flash and you're like, "What the fuck, man?"
I was trying to think of that. Was kind of like just thought of another one. The Ritual. The Ritual. If you haven't seen that, it's Rafe's Fall is in it, and it involves Jotun, the Nordic. It's a Nordic.
I have seen that, dude. That's cool as fuck. Actually,
that giant oak thing.
Yeah, dude. Doesn't that take it? Isn't that fun? Like, because I put that on, and I had kind of really. You read the intro or whatever. It's not a great. It doesn't give you a whole lot. And then you watch the movie and it takes this twist. I love watching, we talked about it last time, movies and things that take a twist as well. And that was one that took a twist. And I really was like, fucking okay, then here we go. And I was really invested into this movie.
It's that folklore thing.
Yep.
And I think we're fascinated by things that are based on legend. A little bit, you know what I mean? Like, did this happen? And there's
there we go.
The Jotun.
Yeah, look at that.
And every time I say that, I always think of the In Flames song from Oracle.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, like you look at that, and I was like, that'd be an awesome album cover right there.
Yeah. I'm digging the new In Flames stuff. Side note, actually, I've been
awesome.
Yeah,
I saw them. When was that? It was in Washington D.C. and I saw them. I want to say it was Amon Amarth.
Yeah,
and of course Amon Amarth were unfreaking believable. And I was gonna say, yes, yeah. I mean, there's yelling. He's got the horn, and then In Flames they were supposed to start at a certain time and they got there late. And I remember, so my buddy and I, we worked on Capitol Hill for a while. We were staffers. So we're there. I think we were still buttoned, we had our ties on. We're there to Amon Amarth show. Wonderful, Good show. And I remember, In Flames came out and it was so cool. And Anders was cool. He had the plaid shirt and he's just there. He's like, I had a really bad day until I got here and I saw all of you and all my new friends that are In Flames fans. This one's called Trigger, and I just tore the place. And I was like, that was so rad. And then I went, actually the same buddy I went with, he had introduced me to In Flames in college. So I was like, and that just opened that pathway for Scandinavian metal, So from them, I went to Dark Tranquility, to Ceremonial Oath, to Soilwork. Yeah, I was going to say, you just talked to Speed.
Yeah, Bjorn Speed, he's the top guy.
And, it just blah, 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 and then just went from there. But
In Flames' new album comes out February. Here's the cover for it. I have the cover. That's what the cover looks like.
I dig that.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's I've got the media, the press release here from Nuclear Blast. It's the 14th one, of course. It's Foregone. Comes out February 10th, 2023, which will be cool. Nice. And we were talking about the Cabinet of Curiosities. I do, if I can get it to play, I've got a little bit of a shot for you. There we go.
Yeah. He's awesome. Oh, okay. Okay.
There we go. Lot 36.
That looks rad.
Yeah, that was good. It was really good. They're about 40 minutes and around a little bit more, a little bit less, but really, really good. And I was always a big fan of like the Tales from the Crypt and the Twilight Zones and things like that as well. The old Twilight Zone. I love that as a kid.
Yeah.
That was one too. We were talking about shit that some of those really creeped me out. Like, I can't lie, man. The Twilight Zone.
Going back to that, the demon on the wing and John Lithgow is there freaking out.
Yes, that was some of those actually did really freak me out.
He does that and grabs him by the face. I was like, nope. That one, and that one was weird too, because you had the time travel stuff, and then you had that with the demon, and it took a very weird left turn, because that was the same one that had it was Kathleen Quinlan, and she found that little boy in the diner.
Yeah.
And then he takes her back to
the house, and then he's got them all controlled. And yeah.
She's just sitting there watching the TV. I was like, what is happening? Oh my God. He was like running, the whole roost there.
And the grandparents also, the granddad tried to slip him a note, and that slip her a note, and so the kids got onto him, and
wait a minute.
Yeah, that was really cool. Another one, American Horror Story. I've been watching the new American Horror Story, man. That's
okay. So I need to go back to it. Those were actually legit unsettling to me.
Yeah.
And I love Lady Gaga, and she was in that one season that they based on I think it was called Hotel. And I thought that was unsettlingly creepy.
Oh yeah.
The dude, what's his name? Evan Peters.
Evan Peters, he's an amazing actor.
Dude, and him as Jeffrey Dahmer is he's awesome, dude.
Oh yeah, he's unreal. He's not doing the latest season of American Horror Story because I've heard and I've read, like, I don't know, that these really dark roles, because he's done a lot of them through American Horror Story, and he's such a great actor. It's believable that they really take a fair bit for him to come down from as well, because he gets right into the character, and it's it's really full on for him to kind of do these roles as well. So I knew if he'd done the Dharma one with both Ryan Murphy involved, that there was no way he was going to get onto that latest season of American Horror Story. And he kind of really, really great part, but you can see that what a great actor he is.
You think about the guys that dive into those roles, like you think of Bill Skarsgård as it, or as Pennywise, and you think about even though it's not a horror character, but like Heath Ledger as the Joker, and like how even Joaquin Phoenix, when you get exactly. Hiya, Georgie.
That one scared the shit out of me.
I saw that one. I saw the first one in the theater, which that on a big screen was actually mildly terrifying because of that jump scare. Because you knew it was going to come. Like when you'd see the balloon come, and you're like, he's going to be right there. Just explode. Like But all those the kids in that were fantastic. And then like,
that it was so good. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the remake. For me, that was way better than the ones they did back. Was that the 90s? Like that was cool at the time. I loved it. They scared the shit out of me. But now I'm growing up, and I'd actually read the It book. That was one of I read that, I think I was in grade 8 or 9, and I read it in like a week or something. I just attached myself to it, and I was reading for hours and hours on end of a day. Oh,
1,000 pages.
yeah, just absolutely love that book. Still one of my favorite books as well. Not only for, you know, the story of coming of age story as well, but the spooks and scares through it all. And Stephen King is a master of building the plot, building the characters, building it all up, and then hitting you with it. So you really got to work your way through that, but it's so worth it.
That's like that. They didn't even get into that. Like he's like generations and like millions of years old.
Yeah.
And then they've actually never done the subplot with the turtle.
Yep.
That maturing. That is like that's supposed to like Pennywise is infinitely bad, and then you had maturing who's infinitely good in the two. But they said that is so hard to translate on camera, and I could understand that. They're like I'm trying to think of other Stephen King. So, The Shining, for example.
Yeah. Everybody
knows it's just a guy who goes. You know, they view it as a guy who's gone insane. You know, from the original movie, but then the series. If you remember, there was a series with Steven Weber.
I love that movie. I love that series. Yeah. Just more detail for me.
That was it. Yeah. Because it explained that the house is possessed a little more.
And the whole history is a totally different kind of there we go. Stephen King's The Shining. Steven Weber was in a couple of Stephen King movies, wasn't he?
I want to say, yeah. He's fantastic too. I always liked him on the show Wings.
Stephen King's The Shining. Yeah, I like that one too. I was at like 2 or 3 when I got on video movies together. It was really, really good. Did enjoy that one quite a lot.
And you saw like the thing for me about The Shining, no offense, I love Jack Nicholson. You knew from the outright, I was like, oh, he's mental. And like, but for what was funny about The Shining was you had a normally normal writer in Jack Torrance who had an alcohol problem and his descent into madness. And I think Steven Weber actually kind of captured that a little better. No offense to Nicholson. Nicholson's still awesome. Like
Nicholson's awesome. Yeah, he did take there was quite a lot of liberties with that first Shining movie. So if anyone really wants to dive into a movie that's a lot more like the book, because I've read the book as well for The Shining, definitely jump into that Steven Weber one, because the books are just so much better. It doesn't matter. You can never capture that. I don't know if it's just sitting down there, reading the book in your room and getting in your headspace and having that story in your own mind of how it is. Like, yeah, the movies are great, but trying to capture that, I think The Shining did the best out of it as well.
So I remember I read, it was Stephen King's novel, Different Seasons.
Yep.
And there's actually several, like The Shawshank Redemption is one of the stories in that. And then, do you remember a movie called Apt Pupil?
Yes.
That was a short story, and that was far more disturbing.
Apt Pupil. That was the guy. Did he play Gandalf? Was he the one who played?
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. I do remember. And I can't remember who was this kid. Brad Renfro. That was it.
Brad Renfro. Yeah.
He was.
I think he passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah. There we go. That was from the director of Usual Suspects.
It was Ian McKellen. And then, Different Seasons. Oh, and what would become Stand By Me? It was called The Body, and it was very similar, where you had those kids going after, trying to find the body of the kid that got hit by the train.
Yep.
But it was amazing to read all those stories that became like these major Hollywood, movies. But they were so much more different than the actual movie.
Yeah, they were.
Like you said,
favorite Stephen King movie or book that's been put into a movie? I'd have to go with it. I don't know. I'd have to go with it. I like that. I know a lot of people hate it on Dreamcatcher. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, that movie's ridiculous. I love it. Oh, what a great cast in that.
Yeah, I just they tried. They tried.
Shit demon, as my friend called it.
The shit demon. That's the
one. Because they that's not accurate, but they trap a shit weasel in a toilet.
Yeah.
But that's a hard one. So one I enjoyed, if you remember Silver Bullet, which was made from Cycle of the Werewolf. It was with Gary Busey and Corey Haim. I'm sorry. I almost said Feldman.
Yep. There we go. Gary Busey, Corey Haim. Yeah.
That was a cool one. I know for the pure soundtrack, it's gonna be, it wasn't scary, but Maximum Overdrive, just because it had the AC/DC soundtrack on it.
Yeah. Maximum.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, well, that was the trucks, wasn't it? That were like kind of
sentient trucks, yeah. Or like, yeah, it was bizarre. I just remember that demon, the Green Goblin, on the front of that truck. I thought that was rad.
Wait up, I can find an image of this one, man. There we go.
I was gonna say,
I got to put that one up. That one's cool.
Yeah. I just remember, that really struck me because that was the first. Yeah, there you go. That was the first I heard AC/DC was on Maximum Overdrive, and I was like, these guys are great. So, trying to think what other ones.
Oh, he done so many good movies, eh? There was another one, another great horror writer that you don't of course now with Clive Barker and the Hellraiser movie, which is yeah, you know, if there another one, Dean Koontz, he's also a really great horror author. You know, I would like to see some more movies done of his, but actually decent movies, you know what I mean? Because he's an amazing author as well, and quite a prolific author. I've got a lot of his books and I really, really enjoy his. But the problem is when I watch any of the movies that people try and make of his, they're fucking horrifyingly bad. Which sucks.
Oh, it's I mean, like, everybody, and that's the thing, when you have, everybody has a different vision of what it is, but you almost with certain, you almost have to go by the length of the book sometimes. Like if it's a shorter, can we do this in like 2 hours? Whether but something like it, which you had to split that in either make it a mini series or like big Lord of the Rings length, you know what I mean? Like really long movies. And kind of similar, so Quentin Tarantino did Hateful Eight. He made that into the Netflix series where it's broken up. You almost need to do that with what was that one with the plague? The Stand.
The Stand. That was good. They've redone that as well over on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Prime. That's pretty good, man. I enjoyed that. I watched that as well. It's like they've done it into a TV show as well. So that was.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, it's good. It's just good to see this different perspective of it as well.
And then there's times where you have a director take it or produce whatever it's not quite like the book, but it's its own standalone awesomeness, like The Running Man.
Yeah.
Which is I'm trying to remember the short story, but the Schwarzenegger movie really only
that was a Richard Bachman one. It was a Stephen King book, but he did write that under the pseudonym of Richard,
right?
Of Richard Bachman, I believe.
That was still a rad movie.
Oh, isn't it? There we go. I got an image for that one as well. There we go. Look at that Running Man. Who was turning into the Stephen King?
We need that on a shirt. We gotta get it on a shirt. Killian.
Yeah, if you see me running down the road, quickly shoot whatever's chasing me down the road. That's for sure. And we're talking movies. Dean Koontz ones there. Corey Haim, he was in The Watchers.
Oh, I distinctly remember that.
Yeah, that was a Dean Koontz one. Another one, Odd Thomas, with the late Anton.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that, and I was hoping that was actually really well done. I do stand corrected. I actually quite enjoyed that. He was a good actor. Rest in peace. He was an unreal actor. I loved him in Star Trek as well. And there we go. There was another Dean Koontz one.
Phantoms
right. With Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Man, I enjoyed that.
One.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I actually enjoyed the Predators one, the one that he done there.
Yeah.
Phantoms, pardon me. Yeah, Phantoms. That was really good, man. What other one does?
Predator? That would be cool.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Soul Survivor, he done one with Billy Zane as well. There was Billy Zane movie, Soul Survivor, Dean Koontz. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yes, there we go.
Clive Barker had Lord of Illusions.
Lord of Illusions. That was cool. That was Scott Bakula. I actually remember that one, dude. My mother was a big Clive Barker fan, and hence
right on.
Yeah, huge Clive Barker fan, and she read all the books for this, and when that movie come out, she was like, "Yep." I had to sit there and watch it with her as well. So very cool, Mom.
Lord of Illusions. What was another? Yeah, I remember the poster, man.
Yeah. The thing is with Dean Koontz books, they're just hard to capture into a movie.
Yeah.
The Midnight Meat Train, that was a short story which I just Bradley Cooper. I just got through.
Wasn't Vinnie Jones the killer in that?
Yeah, I just got through the short story of that, and that was really, really cool. You know, they the reporter, he's on the train, which is Bradley Cooper in this, but in the book, the killer's got no tongue. He's had his tongue ripped out, obviously, because he's working for these demons under the ground, which are like the fathers of New York. They're running the city, this big, and they're feeding this big fucking demon that kind of lives underneath the city. So if he's not chopping up these bodies, hence the name, the Midnight Meat Train, if he's not taking the bodies to this big demon under the ground, then all hell will break loose. So they're kind of
rad.
So there's a whole other point to it, which kind of you miss a little bit. Like Cooper in the book, Bradley Cooper's kills the killer, and then he ends up fucking these demons like come out, rip out his tongue, and said, "Now, pretty well, you've got to serve us.
New guy.
You're the new killer, or this demon here is going to rain down hell and just fucking kill everything." And that was a really, really cool story.
That's awesome. I see. Oh man, I saw it one time, and I gotta dive back into that again. This is good because hopefully now we'll get people, like, oh, we gotta check these out.
We gotta go back and check out some of these movies. I know.
I think this was. I could be wrong on this. Do you remember? I want to say it's Clive Barker, but I don't want to speak. If it's the wrong person. Do you remember what we called The Serpent and the Rainbow? Well, it was Wes Craven.
Yeah.
It was Wes Craven. And it's Bill Pullman, and it's involving voodoo in Haiti.
Yeah, that shit was always kind of fucking spooky to me, the unknown as a kid. You know what I mean? Here we go.
For sure.
I got to get this picture of Bill Pullman up. Wait, I'll get that one up first.
Is it him with the
yeah, you knew it, didn't you? What up? There we go. As Bill Pullman, jeez, he's a good actor, isn't he?
But that was a cool movie.
There we go.
There it is.
Serpent and the Rain, but don't bury me. I'm not dead. That's the first.
Bury me, I'm not dead.
That's the first picture I seen that made me kind of fucking smile. Looks like he's had a really big night out and he's woken up like that before.
I want to get I wonder if we got to scour the internet because I want to either we get them made or I'd like to get that poster on a shirt because people will be like, well, because it's so, I like the little hidden gems.
Yep.
Like that. I remember. Oh my God. Do you remember? It was a series with Julian Sands. It was called Waxwork.
Waxwork. Is it a movie?
I think it was Julian Sands. Might have been it.
Waxwork movie. Julian Sands. Yeah, he was from Warlock.
Yeah, Warlock.
There we go. Waxwork. Open image in you. Was that 1988 or something? He was in a lot of movies around that time, wasn't he? After the Warlock, and I think Warlock was definitely one of the better movies.
Warlock 2, the Armageddon.
Yeah. There we go.
Just the poster alone, man.
Waxwork. Yeah, some of them is so bloody cool. I'm hoping Tom still gets in here. Tom, if you miss out, mate, we've got to catch up again. Anyway, Tom is unreal on that. He gets into all of this. I do want to show you. He does a whole lot of graphic designs.
Tropical Decay.
Tropical Decay.
There it is.
let me find this for you. He does all that kind of stuff. There we go. Does all tour posters and things like that.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he done that one, but yeah, I'll find a couple he's done. Let me get over. Stop
That
this
looks
one,
good.
try. Yeah, he does a lot of video repros. So I was hoping to get him in tonight. If he can't get in tonight, we will have to get him in again because I really wanted to have him in on this episode, people. So I do apologize. He's been pretty flat out. He's got a couple of tours coming up as well. He's playing flat out over the weekend, but I was really hoping to have him in because he does a lot of stuff which you would really dig, which would be right down your alleyway there, Jim. A whole lot of video reproduction stuff, and yeah, he's a huge video collector. And then
that's cool. So he embraces the whole VHS thing.
And absolutely crazy. He's in a whole lot of groups. Here we go. This is one he's done. Whole lot of fucking designs like that for tours.
I dig that.
Yeah, man. Does stuff like that for shows, and yeah, pretty cool though.
I definitely, oh my gosh. I need to get down there and visit, man. Your shows down there look next level.
Yeah, man.
I just watched them. It's on YouTube. Carnal Viscera. They did a concert. I think it was in a bowling alley. And it was the most brutal thing I've ever seen. He's a cannon.
Isn't he?
It's just like, oh my God. It was like, this is rad. What a great band. And the writing.
This goes right with, I know, and it goes right with the theme. Let me just play a little, horror. Yeah. Definitely horror filled. I'm not sure we won't play a great deal of this. We'll get flagged.
Is this Wrong Night to Pull Over?
Yeah. The one I sent you.
Yeah. I love it. It's the best Hanna-Barbera cartoon ever.
It is though.
That's rad.
Yeah, that guy's absolutely crazy on his horror movies as well. And that was kind of the age for us, me and you. It was like VHS. You go down to the VHS store and you pick out a movie, and they don't get that these days. Now it's like sit home at Netflix and fucking, stream. We'd have to go down and make a fucking time to go down to the video shop and
absolutely.
Come on, let's go pick a movie. Fucking all get in there and go down and pick a movie.
There's like the new ones that come out were like a 48-hour rental.
Yeah.
And you had to watch it in like 2 days and then get it back and all that. But like, I remember my dad, I think my mom and dad, they had, I remember getting Beta. And Dad stood by Beta versus VHS. I remember we had Beta tapes. And I remember, I don't know how I remember it, but I remember he had a copy of, probably rented it. Oh, that was the other thing too. Before Blockbuster, you actually had the poster on the video. So it was like, oh, this looks really, really good. So I remember Commando. He rented Commando with Schwarzenegger. And it's with him with the vest. And I was like, this obviously looks rad. And I remember now, going back to the horror thing, I did remember one that scared me to a point was this Aliens, the second one.
Yeah.
And I remember he rented that. And when that thing starts coming out of Sigourney Weaver, man.
She's an amazing actress. So those Alien movies are unreal. Dude. And I even enjoyed the Prometheus and was it the Covenant, the ones?
Yes. And then she'll go from the Alien series to something like one of my, I showed this movie to my wife and she loved it. It was Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
With Tim Allen, and she's hysterical in that.
Yeah.
But I remember, seeing the first two, she was in the first 4 Alien movies, and just incredible. What did you think about the crossover between Alien versus Predator?
This is you know what I mean. I really it was one of those things that you kind of coming back to one of those movies where you kind of laugh at. You grab a bowl of weed, you sit back, you don't take it too seriously. You fucking, it is what it is, man. You get nice and baked and you have a bit of a laugh, you know. This is cool as shit, man. it gets better the more weed you smoke, man. I watched him, and it was all right. I got a laugh here and there. It's not something you take overly serious, whereas that's why as we spoke last time, where I said I really dug that Prey one where they come back and they've actually done it right, you know what I mean? And where you really enjoy it. And that one was good.
Those movies got me too, because the two species were fighting each other. I thought that was interesting. But like now Predator, the first two, in my opinion, that were those fantastic. I got to check out Prey, because that did look like it was back toward like the first two movies. But did you ever play the video game based on Predator?
No, but I have no, I didn't. I've played the one they've got at the moment. They've got Aliens on bloody
Isolation
on Xbox. Yeah, Isolation. They've also got Alien Strike Team or something like that. It's not too bad. Played it. One I've really been getting into, me and my girlfriend actually got, was the Dark Pictures. They do like these movies. Man of Medan was the first one. I think I'm playing House of Ashes. They play out like a movie, an interactive movie, like an interactive horror movie. They've done about 4 of them. They are really, really good. I'm trying to find a picture of it, but it's a really cool horror game to play. One I have been kind of diving into. I'll try and find a trailer for it, but they're really fun to play. It's not a game that you're like flat out button basher, because I've been playing some cool ones like that. Let's get into this one. Dead by Daylight's a good one, horror one. I fucking love that Dead by Daylight game. I've ripped that one out a fair bit.
I've got to go back, but Anna and I started playing. Do you remember that when Outlast came out?
Yeah.
And it was where you had to like take photos and I thought that was genuinely horrifying. And when you played it with headphones, I had to stop. I was like, all right, I'm good. There was one we played that, if I mispronounce it, I apologize. It's called Kholat. It's Kholat. It's a Russian game. And it's based off of, so a real life thing happened called the Dyatlov Pass incident, where there was an avalanche, and these it was in the mountains, and these people were killed, but it was under mysterious circumstances. Like the tent was cut from the inside, like they tried to escape, and their bodies had these weird like bruising and things. That's it.
That's it.
That's Kola. Yeah. That is an awesome one to play. Definitely log some time with that. But it's again like you're saying, it plays out like a movie. It's not like playing Doom, which I love Doom. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like, let me grab the chainsaw and the shotgun and let's go to town. You have no weaponry in these, and it's like great.
It's kind of like that Dead by Daylight as well. You choose, like, you've got the killers in there. There's like Freddy Krueger. It's got the chainsaw guy. It's got a heap of like, it's got the Saw fucking killer and shit like that. And Jigsaw. It's a really, really cool game. And like one person plays a killer and another person, 4 people play like survivors, and they've got to start 4 generators and then get the fuck out of there before the killer kills them. And each of the killers have their own little abilities. It's like when you play as Freddy Krueger and you can put people in this dream state. So you just hear that music in behind it. It's creepy as fuck at times. And it has me like, fuck, man. Like, jumping.
So you're playing as the killer?
Yeah, you can play as the killer or you play as the survivors, which isn't too bad. You know what I mean? So you can go into a game and there's 4 survivors. So you can go, oh, yeah, I want to be one of the survivors, which isn't too bad. And then you've got to try and survive and not get killed. Well, I got a trailer up, House of Ashes. I want to play this quickly, dude, so you can get a look. Yeah, because it actually has some really good actors
down now
doing parts in it. Like one's got Will Poulter in it.
He's great. Yeah.
Oh, he's unreal.
He was going to be Pennywise at one point.
I know.
Oh,
Jump forward a little.
yeah. Oh, damn. Oh my.
Yeah, it's full on, man. It's a cool game, dude. Yeah, it's
Wow.
really gruesome. They do them really, really well, and they have some really bloody good actors in it. Like, I'm trying to Sean Ashmore.
Yeah.
He was in the first one, in The Man of Midden. They get they have some great actors in doing these games now. It really is quite a spin out, some of the actors they do get in. Here we go. I'll try and find a decent image. I just got the 3-1. Yeah, just if anyone's looking for some games to play over Halloween.
That's exactly, yeah.
There we go. I've got the triple pack. So I grabbed The Man of Midden.
Oh,
That's
wow.
like a haunted house one. That's got Sean Ashmore. This one's got Will Poulter in it, the Little Hope one.
Yeah.
That one's like a ghost town one. You kind of rock up. They're all individual stories, so you don't have to play one before playing the other. So it just plays out like you're in a horror movie, which is really cool. You make different choices as to the way it plays out, and some people will survive the way you play it. Some people will not survive, but they're really quite fun. Yeah,
I gotta check that out. See, that sounds good. That was a
Dead by Daylight, man. That one's pretty cool. That's over on Xbox Game Pass. I have that one as well. Dead by Daylight launch trailer. Let's go for a launch trailer.
Yeah.
Which isn't too bad. It's one of those games you can just pick up and not fucking get too invested in, which I don't mind so much. Trying to get my girlfriend into it. She's played a few games. It's not too bad. This was a launch trailer, so this one's a little bit old.
Single player, multiplayer, both?
Multiplayer.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I always want to make sure I get like on a private LAN party, because with multiplayer, I get nervous that I don't want to slow the rest of the group down. Like Call of Duty. Jim's in a corner again, jumping. Bear trap. Hello.
Yeah.
So can you let's just be honest. Can you massacre people like Jason and Freddy in it?
Well, what you do is when you kill them, you got to take them over as the killer. Your job is to chuck them like on a meat hook. So you take the dead body, you'll kill them, like you'll kind of and they'll be like a writhing half dead body. You'll go over, you'll chuck them on like a meat hook. So you got to sacrifice them to the entity. So the other players, the other 3 players or whoever's left they have a little bit of time to go over and save him off of the meat hook before the entity takes their soul away. So
it's a combination of like horror and like capture the flag in Halo.
Yeah, kind of like a survival. So you've got 4 generators you got to kind of try and start. So you go over and start them. And once you open those 4 generators, you got to get to a gate and get the fuck out of there. And the killer's job is to just kill you and fucking different.
That's great.
To kill you. Another one that's all right like that is the Friday the 13th. I know both these games have been out for a while, but the Friday the 13th game is a cool game, man. I like that one. Don't know many people on as much as I'd like, but it's really a fun game. The American servers seem to be more on there than the Aussie servers, that's for sure. But it's a fun game. Same deal, but it's a bigger map. You can either play as a Jason, Friday 13th, Jason Voorhees. And your job is to kill the counselors, but that's got a single player mode as well. So you can play iconic parts from different movies over the years. So you can use different Jasons and they'll play a little bit of a scene in the single player mode, and you've got to get the perfect kill so you can kill the counselors in all these different ways. Yeah, dude. It's definitely a lot more brutal than the Dead by Daylight. Exactly. You can kill them with a bag. You can go up. One point, these couple were like, it's Friday the 13th, people. If you've ever watched it, you're not missing anything. But there were a couple of counselors banging. They were banging in the bed, and I walked up and grabbed this fucking curtain rod straight through both of them while they were getting it on. I'm like, what game can you do that in? You know what I mean?
So if anybody fast forward to this part of the podcast, we're not psychopaths. These are games.
These are actual games that people make as well.
These guys need to be flagged.
The flag
like,
is shit.
Well, with the Predator game, so it was called Concrete Jungle. And the controls were I remember being kind of difficult, but you know, so maybe if they did Concrete Jungle again now, it would probably be really awesome if you got it down pat. But you actually took control of the Predator, so you got to use like the blades and like the cannon on your shoulder and all that. Yeah, but like it was hysterical because you know you would have guys in tanks or whatever, but if they were, so you're a Predator, so you're super jacked up and everything. So you would take the human character and you could punt him literally half a mile, and he would do like, you could take him, just kind of just tear him in half. And I was like, this is hysterical. So, and he'd make you could go to the, you know, where he'd go to the heat vision. He had heat vision and all that, and it would make, he'd do the noise and everything. I was like, if they did this again and they did it right, it would be awesome.
There was a game. There's a game that I've got. It's a Ghost Recon game. The latest Ghost Recon Tom Clancy one. But there is a part in that where you can, I think it's the first or second one, where you can actually fight the Predator. There's a bonus edition in it. There's a bonus section. There's a bonus mission in it where you got to track down the Predator. You find the Predator's been killing soldiers out in the wild, and that does that sound, dude. And it's really, really cool, man. They do it well. The makers of that must really dig Arnold Schwarzenegger, man, because not only did they do the Predator, they also done like a Terminator mission as well. Where it had the whole Terminator, and you're taking down the corporation behind it all and everything as well. So that's really fucking cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like it with these games when they bring in the movies and the popular culture as well. It's really quite cool. It's this game, but that's what I like about gaming these days. I love the old River Raid and the Alex the Kids. As I was a kid, I was always into gaming. But now the games can be so immersive, and being online, they can put these add-ons in, like when, you know, with the Predator movie, let's add this Predator bit. And then I think the new Terminator was coming out at the time. So they're like, let's add in a few Terminator missions as well. So it's yeah.
I love that. See, and I'm a casual gamer, but I'll jump into ones that come out. Like I liked like Red Dead Redemption, that series, because it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go rob a few banks or go hunt, you know, for a while. And I
got Red Dead. I like that. I like the was it not Red Dead Revolver? Red Dead Redemption, the first one. They've got Red Dead Redemption 2 out now. Yeah, Revolver was the first one. Then they done the Red Dead Redemption. I love the undead add-on to that with the zombies and everything like that. That was so much fun. I'm a sucker for zombie games. That's one thing I do out of gore. If there's, we're saying not overly gory. Exception, zombie movies. I'm a fucking, I don't know, for some reason I've always Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, all of these, I don't know, I love them movies. That was my exception to gore. We were talking about gore earlier on in the podcast. I have so many zombie games, Dead Rising, just love all my zombie games.
Is that the one where it's melee based, where you're just like, you pick up like a weed whacker?
Yeah, dude. I've got a few really cool zombie games. I could go. Oh, geez, I'm going. It's something I've always been obsessed with for some reason. I don't know why, but it's just out of all the horror movies, if there was a gore one, zombies for sure.
I don't know why this came to mind. Rather obscure, but it was with. Oh my gosh, I can see him. He was in a movie with Madonna, but the movie's called Cemetery Man. Do you remember this?
No, I'm gonna have a look. If I see the cover, I may remember it. I'm a lot like that.
Yeah, his name's escaping me right now. But still, I haven't finished my coffee yet. So
1994.
Yeah.
Cemetery Man.
Rupert Everett.
Rupert Everett. Yes. Him and Madonna were really good friends, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or were, yeah.
Cemetery. It's called Della Morte Dell'Amore.
Yeah.
Because it was an Italian flick. You got to check that out. It's really, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's up there with the oh my gosh, Peter Jackson, like Brain Dead.
Yeah, Brain Dead, dude. Yeah, that one. I remember coming back and dude, if anyone's seen that, full disclosure, just fucking, it is kind of a little bit gory, but that one, I remember someone living with us, and they would watch that movie over and over again, and I thought that was the most gruesome, fucked up thing I've ever watched.
He does it with a lawnmower.
Yeah, and then like, isn't it like rips the dog out of the mouth at some point? I don't know. It was it was full on.
It was so over the top. It was that he did that, and he did Bad Taste.
Yeah,
and
that was it. Could have been Bad Taste. Either one. No, Brain Dead. I think it was either one. They were both fucking just as bad as each other, weren't they?
Oh, but look, it's funny. He goes from that, and then he goes to doing what was it? Beautiful Creatures, and then the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
There we go. Wait, I got to show this cover for
that.
Yes, Bad Taste, because that cover is absolutely unreal.
That was awesome.
Yeah, went on to get Oscars for Lord of the Rings.
Right.
There we go. New Zealand. We'll adopt them as our own too. We tend to do that if they're in New Zealand. Anyone that's mildly. No, he's Australian as well. They're pretty close. It's all right. Fuck, no worries. we took Rusty.
Right. Right. Exactly. I was just watching him at something. I haven't seen it yet, but I understand he's Zeus in the new Thor.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's fine.
How did you feel?
Yeah, it was funny. I enjoyed it. It was
Lenny. So one of our favorite of the MCU, our favorite is Ragnarok.
Yeah. That movie.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. He called me because I knew his favorite character. He loves Chris and he loves Thor, and he goes, man, he's like. He didn't care for this one. He's like,
it wasn't as good as Ragnarok. No, it wasn't as good as Ragnarok. And they felt like they tried to capture that lightning in a bottle that they did with Ragnarok. You know what I mean? And instead of they should have just tried to do their own thing instead of trying to capture this fucking lightning in a bottle and recreate that feeling with Ragnarok, because it just kind of felt like they were trying to get that, but falling short instead of being on their own. And Christian Bale is absolutely unreal actor, you know what I mean? So it was,
I forget. Oh, he's the main villain. That's right.
Yeah. Gore the God Butcher.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And you kind of really you dig his story, you know what I mean? Like the gods fucking left him to die, and then his son died, and it was just
oh my God.
Yeah, you kind of It was
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, check it out. It was all right, but if you're watching it to expect to get the same as Ragnarok, then it's not. But they do it like, they can't. Not every movie can be the same. People just fucking So,
but I just appreciate the people make them. Like here's the thing: even with movies that we were talking about, like that were bad, quote unquote. The fact that someone took the time and made it. That's the thing I'm talking about. Actually, I got them on my wall. I just remembered Swamp Thing. So I've got he adorns my wall here. So thank you, Leonard. It's one of those things like you just appreciate that there was a vision for that.
Yeah.
And
because this is the kind of shit I wanted to watch as a kid and wasn't around. So I'm glad this is all these, they're actually doing these Marvel movies and these DC movies. They are doing them fucking all right, you know what I mean? They're not
Yeah.
not everyone's cup of tea, but compared to some of the shit we watched back when, you know what I mean? Like the original pow, zing, fucking pow with the Batman.
Right.
You know, so they have definitely come a long way since then.
Do you remember, I was gonna say, this is maybe going back. Did you have you had Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember there was two shows that were they were visually amazing. There was The Mysterious Cities of Gold. Do you remember that?
No, mysterious.
And then there was Spartacus and the Sun Beneath the Sea. And they were they were kind of like, I don't know, it's one of those things, like I'd be fascinated to see like a live action version.
I actually do remember The Mysterious Cities of Gold. Now I'm looking at this, dude. This used to be on, I think, ABC. Let me show this. It wasn't until I seen this.
Esteban, that's it. Esteban.
Yeah, this used to be on ABC. I can't remember, and I'd rush home and watch it. I think it was in the afternoons or maybe in the mornings. I'd get up in the mornings before school, and you'd sit there and watch an hour or two before.
Correct.
Cartoons before you'd head out the door to school. Right. I don't see. Yeah, that was Mysterious Cities of Gold.
And another one I used to watch.
I love that one.
Was Johnny Quest, the old Johnny Quest.
Yeah, Johnny Quest.
And I was like, man, why haven't they done that? That'd be rad.
Yeah, I know.
Johnny Quest, man.
We gotta find.
Because it looked like, now it's the same art style of today's Archer. If you've seen Archer.
Yeah.
But it was it was in the 60s when that came out. I was like, this is like, yeah, man, exactly.
Johnny Quest, join the quest. There we go.
Ray Spann. It was cool, man. And I never saw, I always found it fascinating. They actually did martial arts on that show. Like they would, all right, boys, time for math. And then afterwards we're doing judo. Like, what? Like, I thought that was rad as shit.
Talking about cartoons and coming back to Marvel, this is actually going to fit in well. I actually did watch this bad boy the other day too. Werewolf by Night.
Okay.
This was good. I enjoyed it. They done it in black and white, and I thought it was really good. Sparse amount of color. I think there was a slight bit of red hues and one point. It was really, really, really well done. I quite enjoyed it. I know other people are going to go, I fucking hated it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. You know what I mean? The right amount of gore, and the color came to right at the end of it. I think the last minute, as one of the characters sits down, that's kind of when the color all comes in as well.
That's cool.
It's really good. It starts out like they're getting in all these monster hunters for a hunt to find out who's taking over the grand fucking of the Bloodstone. I think this is Bloodstone that they use to kill demons and monsters and shit like that. So they get all these hunters together for this big hunt to find out who's taking over the Bloodstone. But there's some cool little twists and turns, and it only goes for about 50 minutes, but also something else to chuck on the Halloween viewing if you want to check out something Marvel and Halloween related as well.
Absolutely. There's a lot like I know there was a lot like Moon Knight.
Yep, Moon Knight was good. I enjoyed that. Here we go.
And I here's hoping. I heard a rumor about it that Daredevil for one, like Punisher. They're thinking about bringing John Bernthal back for that.
Yeah. Oh, and Blade, Mahershala Ali as Blade. I think there's been some delays there at the moment, but I'm hoping that one still goes through all good. I dare say there will be money they put into that. And that werewolf one was Gal Garcia Bernal. He was in
he's cool. Yeah,
he's an Unreal actor, dude. Was he in what movie was that? It's another one that was kind of done in black and white as well, wasn't it? Or Sin City, wasn't it around the same time as Sin City?
Yeah.
And he wore like a hat and a fucking, I don't know. It was a really cool movie. I can't remember.
Spirit?
Yeah. That could have been it. Spirit. Wait up. Yeah, I really dug that movie as well. He's a bloody good actor, that guy.
Yeah.
Seen him in quite a few movies. Yeah, there we go. Werewolf by Night. I think it was Spirit, The King, Babel, Deficit. Yeah, we'll go with Spirit. It was a good movie anyway. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Awesome. You're right.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, Jim. I might let you get about the rest of your day. We've been chatting for the last couple of hours. Tom, you owe us, my friend. You owe us a bloody episode.
We'll get him.
We'll get him. You have a great Halloween, Jim. Do you have any last words you want to chuck in there, my friend?
Love you, brother. Thank you this is awesome. Always love doing it, and I'm very honored, man. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, much love, brother. Everybody out there, you have a happy, horror-filled Halloween. Stay safe, look after each other, and be a bloody good cunt. See you later. Cheers, mate.
Indeed.